Hey, what's up guys, Josh's Boosters here and welcome back to another One Piece video. So today I'm doing something that I'm not usually doing on the channel, but I'm reacting to some of the reviews for OP13. And the reason for this is that the Roger leader just got reviewed, which is obviously very hype in my opinion. And I'm super surprised by the words that are on this card essentially. But they also just reviewed the new Sabo leader, which we're looking at here, the new Ace leader and the new Bonney leader, which I also just want to go over briefly. We already got the Luffy leader, which is like the green-red one that essentially counters for free, which I do think will be a pretty powerful card, but I just want to go over the new ones here since, I mean, if you're watching this video, you probably already have seen some stuff about that leader, so I'm just gonna be focusing on these ones. Low-key hoping they're also dropping the Emu leader while I'm recording it, so I can immediately go over that, but that's probably a bit cope. But yeah, let's just go over the less hyped ones first, and then we can really dive into Roger. So we have Sabo here, red-black leader, 5 life, Dressrosa type, Revolutionary Army type, and it says if you have 4 or more life cards, gives this leader minus 1000 power. So it has like the trade-off that the red-purple kid leader also has, where it's like a dual color leader, a 5k power, but it does have 5 life, and then you trade like the 1000 power essentially. Then it says if you control a character with a cost of 8 or more, so this synergizes with the previously released black Revolutionary Army cards for the Koala deck. Your leader and all of your characters gains plus 1000 power. So pretty good, you know, essentially changes this into a 6k leader on your opponent's turn, which is always strong. And then it's also like a 7k leader essentially for 1 don in your turn. I don't know, pretty cool. It synergizes well with the previously released Revolutionary Army cards. You can play the Stage, you can play like the Morley and the Karasu from the previous set. You can play Dragon. Yeah, pretty straightforward. This probably means we will be getting more Revolutionary Army support, possibly with the gimmick from the previous set as well. Seems like a fine leader. I don't really see this being super super game breaking, but the Revolutionary Army does have a lot of support, and the leader here also synergizes pretty well with the first wave of Revolutionary Army support. You know, the ones that need to be 7k to trigger their effects. Because you just need to give them essentially 1 don to hit those marks. So pretty cool. Not game breaking, I don't think, but I also don't think this is like necessarily a bad leader. It wouldn't surprise me if this will see play. Then the next one is probably a little bit more hype. It's Portgas D Ace. He is red blue, so the same color as Marco. 3 life, 6k power, so it sticks to the previous balancing mechanic for 6k power leaders, dual color. Then it says, on your opponent's attack, once per turn you may discard 1 card from your hand, give up to one of your opponent's leader or characters minus plus 2000 power during this battle. So you can trade bricks in your hand essentially for a 2k counter, which is a pretty decent effect. Like, it just boosts consistency inherently because it changes all your bricks into counter value. And it says done times 1 once per turn. When you take damage or when your character with an original power of 6k or more is KO'd, you can draw a card. So that's pretty good as well. These 3 life leaders, they really struggle with keeping up card advantage just because you don't really get to take as much life as, you know, regular 5 life or even 4 life leaders, right? So you're kind of missing those cards, and this really makes up for that in a sense. And, you know, being a 6k leader is always very, very strong. So I do think this card is very powerful. Again, it synergizes really well with previously released Whitebeard Pirate support, which there is a lot of at this point in red and blue. So, yeah, I do think this leader has like a little bit more potential than the Sabo leader. I'm not sure how it stacks up against the Luffy leader. I do think that Luffy leader they released is very, very powerful. Can be very degenerate defensively speaking. But yeah, this is definitely a very, very strong leader as well. Even though I guess if you're like a rush deck, you can kind of play around the effect by just attacking into the leader. But then it does have the on your opponent's attack once per turn effect as well. So yeah, pretty cool leader as well. Then we have this monocolor yellow Egghead Bonney. 5 life, 5000 power. On your turn, once per turn, when you play a character with a trigger, you may activate this effect, give one of your leaders or characters 2 rested on. So, it's pretty decent, I guess. It means that you can play this deck pretty aggro, I suppose. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is just, like, you know, you played out a card, give 2 rested on to your Bonney leader, and just, like, swing to your opponent, because you're probably gonna be playing, like, all the Egghead trigger characters, which, they all have trigger, right? It's in the name, they're trigger characters. And maybe we'll get support that says, you know, Don times 2, do X, with the new Egghead support, since we're also getting the Egghead structure deck, at some point, yellow Egghead structure deck, so this leader might also synergize with those cards. It's hard to say, but I know this leader seems fine, doesn't immediately hit me as game breaking, and it's probably really gonna depend on the support it gets. I think for me, this seems like the most lackluster leader that has been reviewed for OP13 up till now. But let's get to the big thing, right? This Roger leader. And I mean, the first thing that everybody's probably gonna notice when you are looking at this card is that it says 7,000 power. We already knew this, but I think everybody was expecting this lead to be like a 2-life leader or something, or have like a huge drawback. And it does have a drawback, which I will be getting into, but this card actually is a 5-life leader, which I think takes everybody by surprise. I think nobody expected this, unless you thought it would have like a big drawback. And it does have like a drawback, a pretty big one, to be honest, but I still think this card is probably is busted. So yeah, GOL D Roger, red purple leader, 5 life, 7,000 power, king of the pirates type, / Roger pirates. If you have Dawn on your field, give this leader one of the Dawn cards that you would be added during your Dawn phase. So if I'm reading this correctly, that means that until you hit 10 Dawn, every time you would gain Dawn during your Dawn phase, you have to give one of those 2 Dawn to your Roger leader to essentially make it like a 6k leader. What this means, essentially you're playing with 1 Dawn behind until you actually get to 10 Dawn, which is a big drawback, right? A very, very big drawback. Essentially it means that on your first Dawn turn, you actually start with 0 Dawn, and then if you're going second, you actually only start with 1 Dawn. Big drawback. However, this is a purple leader, which means that you can be playing a bunch of ramp cards, and as it's looking right now, I would assume like a little bit like blue-purple Luffy, this deck is just gonna be like a bunch of ramp cards, like a lot of them, so you can really get to that 10 Dawn turn, because it also says while you have 9 or fewer Dawn on your field, this leader has minus 2,000 power, so it's just a regular 5k leader for the most part of the game, that's behind 1 Dawn, until you start ramping with your purple cards, of course. So, yeah, I would really assume you're going to be playing a bunch of the ramp cards. I could see, I mean, Mr. 2 Bunkley for sure, right? And then Gear 3 probably as well, I would imagine. Because you're only really in the end game is when you become this 7k monster. But yeah, I still think this card is absolutely ridiculous. Like, sure, you're a 5k leader for most part of the game, but that's fine, because most leaders are 5k. Even though I guess in this set it's a little bit different with the 3 brothers all being essentially like bigger leaders. But I think it will depend on the support how good this leader will be. But even like if we got no support, this card just has to be playable, right? Just a ramp to 10 Dawn, be a 7k leader. At this point, since going minus Dawn in this deck is really bad, I would assume it's going to be a little bit like you use the purple cards to ramp, and then you're mostly going to be playing like red boss monsters. Maybe like Nikos Newgate, the Roger, of course, a Dragon could be good. Stuff like that. It's always hard to judge without, you know, actually seeing the support, but just based on this, the stats for this leader, I would assume this this is going to probably be the best deck in the format, and I think it should be, right? Because the One Piece card game, the game design wise, they're really into making stuff lore accurate, And it would be very fitting for the King of the Pirates to be the best deck in the OP13 format. Depending on what the emu leader will be, right? I mean, I might do, if the leader is crazy as well, I'll do a video on that as well. But yeah, that's just, I really wanted to go over these cards real quick. They were reviewed like 10 minutes ago when I started recording this video, and I was really, really excited about this Roger leader. Super excited to see what support is going to bring, but calling it now, this is going to be the best deck in the OP13 format. Crazy, 7k, 5 life. Yeah, just wanted to ramble about that real quick. Literally just got out of bed to do this. Yeah, leave a like, subscribe for more content. And yeah, if you do, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.